name's Geela, but you can also call me Jella. Welcome back. I know it's been a long time since you've last heard my voice, and I've been wanting to get this video done for months now, but I kept getting stuck on the script. But with Technoblade's passing, I really wanted to get this posted so that I could do a D&D version of the Dream SMP's Technoblade, which is also why I pushed back my Cheshire Cat video instead of the original July 4th goal. Still, I hope you watch the whole video and give it a like, as I put a lot of energy into this. Plus, there will be a poll at the end where you can vote on which Dream SMP duo you want Technoblade to be in. Anyways, we're going to go deep into character creation. We're talking stats, skills, proficiencies, armor, equipment, features, traits, and even spells if they apply. The whole shebang, as if this could be a legitimate character that you can play as in D&D. And we might come out of this a little bit insane, but that's okay. It's kind of expected in D&D, so I knew the risks coming in. Besides, I love character creation. Also, there are going to be spoilers regarding the Dream SMP lore here, naturally. Okay, I imagine Dream being level 12 out of the max 20 in the beginning of the Dream SMP due to him being well known in the community for his Minecraft and PvP abilities even before the server was created. I also say that present day Dream as of June 2022 is now level 15. I chose these levels because the level tier of 11 to 16 is where whole regions and continents know of the character's power and skills. It also shows that Dream still has room to grow in power, and that he's not a true god no matter how much he says he is. He's still mortal. Alright, starting at level 1. Base stats, race, and background before the class type. Wanting some semblance of reason instead of what I typically do, rolling stats with dice, I just chose ascending order from 11 to 16 since these are common rolls that still show power since 20 is the max, without being too random. 16 into dexterity because he's a nimble fast boy, 15 into wisdom because he's known for Minecraft survival and hunting, 14 into strength because he hits pretty hard, 13 into intelligence because he's smart and a great tactician, 12 for charisma because he's a good verbal manipulator, and 11 for constitution because he needs a dump stat. Next, D&D offers a list of races to play as. Looking at all the choices, I say changeling. Does he not scream changeling? Even in canon, his species is unknown. We just know that he wears a mask and is alluded to not being human despite looking like one. Changelings are literally masters of faces, able to shift their forms. Not to mention, their original form is white and ghastly with dark circles around their white eyes. Basically Dream's Minecraft skin. As for changeling racial features, this includes 2 points into charisma and 1 point into another ability score of choice, which I chose intelligence to get that base stat to an even number of 14. Basically, even numbers give out the added modifier points, i.e. 12 and 13 give a +1, while 14 and 15 give a +2 bonus when rolling dice. As for languages, changelings know common and 2 languages of choice, which I chose Primordial and Sylvan because Dream seems like he wants to know exotic languages, to find information not accessible to common folk. Primordial being the language of the elemental godlike ancients, and Sylvan of the Fae-like gods. Dream also gets changeling instincts, meaning he gets proficiency in 2 out of 4 choices: deception, insight, intimidation, and persuasion. I chose deception and insight to help deceive others into thinking he's human and to weave better lies. Insight is also there for him to better read others, to find their attachments, and to figure out when they're lying too. All things to help him better manipulate others. And lastly, the feature Shapeshifter is basically where Dream can change his appearance and or voice, but his base game stats don't change. He also holds this form for as long as he wants or until he dies. Now background. I chose Outlander, which is a person of the wilds, like a nomad and explorer. It's perfect, right? Dream doesn't even have a house in the Dream SMP, and he's a hunter-gatherer kind of explorer character, even in the Manhunt and Speedrun series. Never a home to settle in. This background gives skill proficiencies in athletics and survival, as well as 1 instrument, which I chose to be the violin, since it's a stringed instrument, and Dream is seen as a puppeteer kind of villain. And he also gets 1 more language of choice, which I chose Elven because elves have that otherworldly aspect despite being a common folk. Dream also gets the Wanderer feature, which means he has excellent memory in maps and geography, as well as the ability to find food and water more easily. See, D&D also has various class types, and I see Dream as either a ranger, a rogue, or a multiclass of both. I chose multiclass for reasons I'll explain later, but I thoroughly regret it because this guy is freakishly terrifying. Now, let's focus on his first level starting class. This is important because it gives a character skills and saving throw proficiencies. I went with Rogue. 1, the Rogue's intelligence saving throw outweighs the Ranger's strength saving throw, since Dream is more of an intelligent Minecraft schemer. Plus, starting off with 4 skill proficiencies instead of 3 never hurts anyone. So, I gave him acrobatics because he's nimble, persuasion because he gets people to do what he wants, please subscribe and like this video, intimidation because he's terrifying, and investigation because he's always watching, trying to deduce ways to get advantage. And you might be screaming, what about stealth? You can't have a rogue with no proficiency in stealth. And I hear ya, you'll get it later, you'll see. And lastly, for level 1, rogues get expertise, meaning that they can add double their proficiency onto 2 skills or to 1 skill and thieves' tools, since rogues have natural proficiency with thieves' tools. I chose Investigation and Survival Expertise. Survival Minecraft and Wandering, and Investigation from figuring out needed information to succeed in his plans, like exploits and weaknesses. We'd usually do Armor, HP, and Weapons next, but we'll wait until level 15. Now Dream levels up and multi-classes into Ranger. Here he gets access to medium armor, all weapon types, and shields, which is why I couldn't do an only rogue Dream, because rogues only get light armor, no access to martial weapons like the battle axe, and no shield. How can I not let Dream have his signature netherite armor with his shield and his signature nightmare axe? Thus, multi-class needed. Oh, and Ranger multi-class gives one more class skill proficiency. Da-da-da! Dream gets stealth now. Told you he'd get it later. Now I'll do 5 levels of Ranger before doing the remaining rogue levels because I'm not going to go back and forth. That's just going to get too confusing. So the level 1 Ranger feature that is given is Favored Enemy, meaning Dream can better track and recall information and learn an additional language regarding one type of creature, like dragons, or 2 humanoid races of his choosing. Here I chose humanoids, the human and tiefling races. Human because that's what Tommy is, and tiefling because that'll be Rambo, and we know that Dream loved tormenting miners. Man, they grew up so fast. And since tieflings speak Infernal, Dream now knows Infernal too. Like, dang, look at this language master! Rangers also get the Natural Explorer at level 1, double proficiency in intelligence and wisdom-based skills regarding a chosen biome, also getting other benefits when in said favored biome as listed here. Out of the 8 D&D choices, I chose Forest since it's the most common biome in Minecraft and it fits Dream's aesthetic. Now, level 2 is fun. Fighting style gives an extra boost to your choice of fighting, like accuracy, damage, or armor. Out of the choices, I chose Dueling Style, giving Dream 2 extra points of damage when he wields one weapon at a time. And this does mean that he can have his nightmare weapon in one hand and a shield in the other. With spell casting, Rangers are half casters, so they get fewer spells and spell uses compared to other classes. And a lot of Ranger spells are nature or hunting based. I'll come back to this later because spells are also affected by level ups. For level 3, it gives Primeval Awareness and Ranger Conclave. Primeval Awareness, I think I'm saying that right, lets Dream use a spell slot to sense creature types such as Celestials or Aberrations within a mile from him, or 6 miles in his favorite terrain, the forest. But it doesn't give him the exact location or the amount. Now for my favorite part, the Conclave subclass. I debated between the Hunter and the Monster Slayer subclass, and you can probably see why. Dream is basically a hunter even when he's the one being hunted, and Monster Slayer is literally the core mechanic of Minecraft. But I ended up with the Monster Slayer because it gives more features at 3rd level, and Dream likes his options. Monster Slayer also gives automatic spells, Protection from Good and Evil as a 3rd level ranger, and Zone of Truth as a 5th level ranger. 3rd level Monster Slayer also gives the feature Hunter Sense, which basically allows Dream to use an action to figure out another's immunities, resistances, vulnerabilities, and/or species. Good to know his enemies to better plan against them. He can also use this ability the amount of times equal to his Wisdom modifier, i.e. 2 times per long rest, but it will become 3 when Dream's base Wisdom stat becomes 16. Lastly, Slayer's Prey, which allows Dream to use a bonus action to implement 1d6 extra damage when attacking a specified target. Poor Tommy. But only for his first attack that hits per round. Dream can also use another bonus action to change targets, and this feature lasts until Dream takes an hour short rest or an 8-hour long rest. Slayer's Prey is nice, but it does compete with other important rogue features or ranger spells that use the bonus action category. Still though, Dream can manage. 4th level Ranger is an ability score improvement, an ASI. Here you add 2 points to your ability scores, either 2 to 1 score or 1 to 2 scores, or instead you get a feature called a feat from a designated list. For us, we'll just increase the intelligence score from 14 to 16, meaning it's now a +3 modifier. We're doing this because I think Dream would also prioritize increasing scores over a feat until later levels when his base build is stronger and can afford more flavor customizations. And lastly, 5th level Ranger gives extra attack. Overall, the base choices any player has is movement, 1 action, 1 bonus action, and 1 reaction. But now Dream gets 2 attack actions per round. Simple but very effective. We like damage. But wait, there's more! The spells. By 5th level, Rangers have 4 spells outside of the subclass spells, 2 of which can be 2nd level spells if Dream replaces 1 1st level spell when leveling up. He also has 4 1st level spell and 2 2nd level spell uses per long rest. First, the Monster Slayer subclass spells. Protection from Evil and Good is a concentration 1st level spell that provides protective features to an individual against a certain creature type of choice, like Fays or Fiends. It prevents certain status effects on and makes it difficult to hit the protected individual. It can also last to 10 minutes. But you see, if Dream gets hit by an attack while having a concentration spell up, he'd have to roll a Constitution saving throw to see if he maintains the spell. If he fails, the spell basically dies out. And we know Dream doesn't have the best con stat, so he'd more so try to avoid getting hit at all. Second, Zone of Truth is a 2nd level spell, lasting 10 minutes. It basically makes anyone within a 15-foot radius unable to tell a lie if they fail a Charisma saving throw against Dream's spell DC. which is 8 plus Dream's proficiency modifier plus his wisdom modifier, so from 13 to 16 as Dream levels up. Now for non-subclass spells. Hunter's Mark is a staple for rangers, but it competes for the bonus action slot, and Slayer's Prey is similar without concentration, which players only have one concentration spell that they can use at a time. Dream may also want to have his concentration open for other spells, so instead I chose first level spell Goodberry. 10 berries that provide healing can be split amongst the group and fills your hunger for the whole day. It's great for a survival character like Dream. Also, that 1 HP per berry, while small, can bring back a fainted ally back to their feet, avoiding death saving throws. The next spell is Entangle, a great concentration first level spell that restrains individuals with its vines if the target fails a strength saving throw. And we know Dream likes his traps and area control. The other first level spell is Absorb Elements, a good defensive reaction spell that halves elemental damage before sending it back when Dream next hits an attack. The asterisk is there because it could instead be the second level spell Dark Vision. See, changelings don't have dark vision, which is needed when moving or fighting in the dark, but I'd like to think that Dream's mask is a magical item that provides dark vision since Dream would have the resources or ability to get what he needs. So I say Absorb Elements in the end. And to the last spell, second level Spike Growth, a great concentration area control spell. But unlike Entangle, this does 2d4 damage and doesn't allow the enemy to roll a saving throw to avoid damage or to escape. It's a great trap option for Dream's playstyle. Alright, with all that done, we can go back to Rogue. I already talked expertise, but Rogues also get Sneak Attack and Thieves' Cant at level 1. Sneak Attack means once per turn, Dream can deal extra damage if he has advantage on an attack with a finesse weapon, like a rapier that uses dexterity instead of strength, or a ranged weapon like a bow. Sneak Attack can also occur when flanking a target, though some DMs consider it an optional rule. Leveling up also gives more Sneak Attack damage. With Thieves' Cant, it's basically a secret language or code that all rogues know. Then with level 2 Rogue, Dream now gets Cunning Action, which basically means the dash, disengage, and hide action can now be a bonus action. It's simple but extremely useful as you're not wasting an action to do any of these things. But it's also another thing that competes for bonus action now. Now to the fun subclasses, Roguish Archetype at 3rd level Rogue. Out of the 9 choices, I chose Mastermind because it fits Dream's villainous themes, a schemer who takes great care to find secrets and favors of others to use. This Mastermind subclass at 3rd level gives Master of Intrigue and Master of Tactics. Intrigue gives proficiency with a disguise kit, a forgery kit, and a gaming set, which out of the 4 choices, I chose the complicated dragon chess set because a lot of us visualize Dream with chess motifs. Additionally, if Dream listens to you speak for a minute, he can mimic your speech patterns and accent to seem like a fellow native so long as he speaks the language. Good to create false kinship and to lower people's guards. With Tactics, the help action can now be a bonus action and has a 30-foot range instead of a 5-foot range, so long as the ally can see and hear Dream. Basically, Dream gives an ally advantage by giving efficient tactical advice in vivo. It does compete for bonus action, but it can be useful for when Dream teams up, not wasting an action. Then with level 4, it's the typical ASI, and I added 2 points into Dex, making it an 18, a +4 modifier, increasing important things to Dream like stealth, acrobatics, and initiative. 5th level Rogue then gives Uncanny Dodge, allowing the reaction slot to have an attacker's damage. Strong and useful defensive feature, similar to his ranger spell Absorb Elements, meaning Dream has options to reduce damage against himself. 6th level Rogue gets 2 more expertise. I know it's terrifying on Dream, but I chose Acrobatics and Thieves Tools to get double proficiency. Acrobatics to better weasel his way out of hunters attacking him, and Thieves Tool because it's great for picking locks and making regular mechanical traps, fitting Dream's shtick. And lastly, 7th level Rogue gives Evasion, the ability to dodge area effects that calls for a dex save. Another great defensive tool that halves damage despite failing a dex save or all damage on a successful one. And now here, Dream enters the Dream SMP, at a total level of 12. Thus, Dream has all of these abilities during the Dis Saga beginnings against Tommy and Tubbo as well as the L'Manberg War. After the war, that milestone in experience would level Dream up to 13, and we're putting that into level 8 Rogue. And guess what? Rogues get another ability score improvement. Yeah, rogues get more ASIs than any other class type except for fighters. But I will say, we're going into feats now. Why, you might ask? Well, I think Dream would feel comfortable enough with his stats to start getting feats that better complement his build. Lots of great choices, but I ended on the mobile feat, which increases Dream's speed by 10, makes difficult terrain not cost extra movement when dashing, and stops attack of opportunities against him so long as he attempts a hit against said target that he's moving away from. This means he doesn't need to use his bonus action as often to disengage and can use it instead on other things like spells or Slayer's Prey more safely. I also imagine Dream taking this feat because he wanted to better escape hunters since his Manhunt series had added another member and he had lost to Technoblade in the 1v1 around the same time. probably wanting to limit how much he got hit because in D&D, Dream has less overall health compared to Technoblade due to a lower constitution and a smaller hit dice compared to Technoblade. Oh, and a hit dice basically means a character's health dice based off of the character's class type, in this case, Ranger and Rogue. Dream would stay level 13 until the end of the Manberg vs. Pogtopia arc, after providing Wilbur the TNT to explode the nation. A major plot milestone that would have also given EXP because 1. Dream participated in the fight with Schlatt, and 2. He assisted in Wilbur's destruction. Now at level 14, Dream takes another level in Rogue. 9th level Rogue gives a Mastermind update, Insightful Manipulator. Sounds fitting, doesn't it? Arriving just in time for Dream's manipulation of Tubbo and Tommy that eventually led to Tommy's exile, as well as Tommy's extreme fear and dependence on Dream. This feature basically gives Dream information on a target's social abilities such as intelligence, wisdom, and charisma, as well as class level, some pieces of their history, and some of their personality traits useful to be manipulated. Of course, manipulation isn't flawless. So, Tommy eventually broke out from that abusive cycle and found Technoblade. But Tommy eventually left / betrayed Technoblade in favor of Tubbo, which makes sense, but it doesn't stop the pain! Leading to Techno teaming up with Dream to completely demolish Manberg in a ginormous crater thanks to Dream's, once again, love of endless TNT. Falling from the sky is a partial trap and a major damage attack. Once Doomsday finished, Dream leveled up to 15 with level 10 in Rogue. And guess what? Another ASI. But I envisioned Dream taking a feat for thematic purposes, the feat Fae Touched, because Dream XD had started popping in and out interacting with the world. And by canon, Dream XD looks like Dream because Dream was the first humanoid he saw. Dream XD is basically God here, and I imagine him to be an archfey kind of god, mystical and powerful while having social strength and charm and causing fear. Similarly, Dream by now has the Revival book, dropped by Dream XD from long ages past, and it's integral to Dream's current plot and character. So, Dream really does seem Fae Touched. This feat basically puts 1 point into any social stat, and I chose Wisdom to make it a 16, a +3 modifier. And because it's Dream's Ranger spellcasting stat. Dream is also given the spell Misty Step, a great emergency exit defense that teleports Dream 30 feet away. And lastly, the Fae Touch feat gives 1 level 1 enchantment spell of choice, and I went with Dissonant Whispers because it messes with the mind of the target, causing psychic damage if they fail their Wisdom saving throw and must use their reaction to run away from Dream. And if the person passes their saving throw instead of fail, they still get half the psychic damage, so it's still useful. For both spells, Dream can only use one once per long rest without using a spell slot. Afterwards, he can use up to his first level spell slots to cast any of these 2 spells of choice. But remember, Rangers naturally have limited spell slots, so Dream would probably only use these spells in emergencies outside of the first free use. And that's it. Level 15. Dream's current level. Yes, more lore has happened, but Dream was thrown in prison after losing the disc confrontation, and hasn't done much once freed outside of tormenting Sam and planning revenge on Quackity for the torture Dream experienced during his stay in the prison. Ever the schemer. Meaning Dream hasn't hit any milestone plot points to gain enough EXP for another level up. Though by God, that took forever! Why did I make Dream so complicated? I feel like sanity is gone. This is gonna be a pain to edit. Well, only thing left is to fill in the numbers. Quick facts. Dream now has a proficiency modifier of +5 as a level 15 character, meaning skills he's proficient in gets a +5 while expertise skills get a +10, double proficiency. His sneak attack is now 5d6 since he's level 10 rogue, and lastly he'd have his Nightmare Battle Axe, Nightmare Sword, which is a rapier because it uses dexterity modifiers and thus qualifies for sneak attack damage, and Nightmare Longbow, which also uses dex and can give sneak attack damage as well. In the drawing, the weapons are all purple because they are netherite enchanted, meaning they'd have added features like better accuracy and damage, such as the longbow making flame arrows, or the battle axe just hitting harder due to sharpness type enchantments. Also, absolutely love my Nightmare Battle Axe design. Had to have had the marionette strings on it to symbolize Dream's ability to manipulate others like a puppet master. And as for Dream's armor, it's an enchanted netherite breastplate, giving him more protection than a normal breastplate. The base breastplate gives a 14 + 2 from his dex modifier, thus equaling 16, +3 from the legendary enchanted netherite effect equaling 19, and a last +2 from having a shield. Dream now ends up with a 21 armor class with all of that on. For a point of reference, a singular 20-sided dice is the dice roll to hit. This means enemies have to roll high and have high modifiers to add in order to hit Dream, at least consistently. However, if Dream has no armor, such as when he was in prison, his armor class would be 14, meaning it's easier to hit him with that 20-sided dice. Lastly, HP by level 15 would be a 10d8 + 5e10 because rogues have an 8-sided hit dice and rangers have a 10-sided hit dice. I gave Dream 91 HP arbitrarily because it's just over the average that anyone would get. It might not be a lot of HP for his level, but he's hard to hit with that 21 armor class and his mobile feat and spells that let him move more easily. Honestly, it's still terrifying. Ha! Following the events of Quackity's latest lore stream on September 10th/11th, depending on where you were, Dream may have leveled up to 16 due to it being a milestone level up from participating in the ending of Las Nevadas, getting revenge on Quackity, as well as Dream having killed the beast that is Sam earlier this year, and may have continued his experimentation with the Revive book. Really up to y'all on whether or not he leveled up to 16. But let's say Dream did level up, he would get another level into Rogue and get Reliable Talent, meaning any skills he's proficient in during ability checks, which are Acrobatics, Athletics, Deception, Insight, Intimidation, Investigation, Persuasion, Stealth, and Survival, Dream would not be able to roll under a 10. Example, he rolls a 2 on Persuasion. That 2 becomes a 10, then he adds his proficiency modifiers, equaling 17. Thus, any proficient skill will have a minimum of a 17 to 24, depending on which core stat it's based on, and if it has expertise on it. Not to mention, with a level 11 rogue, sneak attack becomes 66, and his HP goes up 1d8. So we'll end up with a 96 HP total. By God! Thanks, Quackity, I just finished editing this video too. Hiyo, Editor Geela here. This video ended up way too long, so I ended up cutting this duo in half. The other half is in the sister video that I posted at the same time, and yep, it's TommyInnit. Thank you for listening thus far, and I hope you continue to part 2 of this first duo. Hasta pronto! See you there!